Hello students. So today we will learn about another practical in parasitology, which is the preparation of thick and thin blood smear. This is very basic and most of you would have already done it in the lab. But in case of parasitology, thick and thin smear has a different significance. So far, if you have made thin smear, you must have prepared for hematological studies. Here also the thin smear is prepared the same way, but in this we look for the presence or absence of parasites. Thick smear is also used in parasitology in order to find some blood parasite. So in this practical we have different steps. So first is preparatory steps. We will prepare what are the things that we require. Then we'll use finger prick blood, and then we'll prepare the thin smear. We'll prepare thick smear also, and we'll show you how to use venous blood to prepare smear. So you have both the options. So in the lab, if you have the blood collected from vein and it's present in a EDTA vial, how you will take the blood, and directly from a finger prick using capillary blood, how you can make thick or thin smear. So, thick and thin smear is very significant in the diagnosis. Using this, we can find out the presence of hemoparasites which are causing any infection. Some examples of hemoparasites are protozoa, in under that malarial parasites, then filarial parasites. So all these are present in the blood. So here in this practical, we will learn about the preparation of thick and thin blood smear. So here I have all the requirements. Here I have put up all the requirements that is needed in order to prepare a thick and thin blood smear. So first you will need a disinfectant and a cotton swab. Disinfectant means you can use alcohol in order to clean the area of the finger. Since we are going to do finger prick, you have to clean the finger tip with cotton swab containing alcohol, so that there is no infection or contamination. Then you need a microscopic slide. This is a box of slides, glass slides. Then you need sterile lancets. Lancets are devices that are used to prick the fingers, those small devices. Here I have inside the packet the lancet. Then we are not using any syringe here because we are taking out capillary blood from finger prick. That's why we are using lancet. Then you need a special slide as spreader. So there are some glass slides which are used as spreaders. They have very smooth edge. So to spread the blood on another glass slide, we use this kind of spreader. You need gloves, of course, because you don't know what kind of sample you are handling. So in order to protect yourself, you should always keep gloves with you. And you have to take you have to also have a knowledge about precaution measures that you should take when you are handling a blood sample. So this is all the requirement: the glass slide, cotton swab with disinfectant, your lancet, hand gloves, and of course you need a pencil. This pencil will help you to mark your slide with the patient number. You can take the pencil, lead pencil, or if you don't have lead pencil, you can also use diamond marking pencil. Now first we will prepare the microscopic slide. So here you can see we have to take out the number of slides. So how many smears you are going to prepare, you take that many slides. If the slide is not clean, see, it is placed on a paper towel or tissue paper. The slides are taken out and kept on tissue paper, and you have to just quickly examine them. If they are greasy or not clean, you have to make sure they must be clean before you start preparing the smears. Now you can use two types of glass slides. You can use glass slide without a frosted end, and you can use the plain glass slide. The glass slide with frosted end means some glass slide you must have seen. If I go back to this picture, if you see this picture, you see different texture. This part of this slide has a different texture, and this part of the slide is different texture. So in some slide, this part, the end, one side or one end is frosted, so that it's easy to write on them using lead pencil. So those are called frosted glass slides. And the plain glass slide, everything will be of the same texture, and where there you cannot use a lead pencil, you have to use a diamond marking pencil. So you can use either a frosted slide or non-frosted slide. Then um, you have to prepare the patient. So for preparing the patient for finger prick, what you can do is you have to ask the patient to sit. So here the patient is sitting and you are also sitting, and then you have to take out the swab with the disinfectant or alcohol in it, and you have to clean the finger. You can see in this picture how the hand or the finger is being cleaned, so it should be completely clean. And then okay, so here there is a short video of how to make a finger prick. So I am going to show you how the technician is pricking. So once it is clean, you take the lancet and just quickly make a prick, and as soon as you prick, you see the drop of blood coming out. So once again, yeah, so after cleaning the finger, quickly a prick has been made, and the blood immediately comes out. Now once the blood come out, do not use the first drop of blood. As you can see in this picture, the technician is holding a cotton swab and they are going to wipe it off. So first drop of blood must not be used because it will have some contaminants, or there will be hemodilution due to lot of water content in it. So first drop you must clean, and the second drop, you see how the person is taking the slide and touching the blood drop on the slide, so that the drop is transferred on the glass slide. So you see the finger is being pressed and more amount of blood coming out, and the technician is touching the drop of blood on the glass slide, so that it is transferred on the glass slide. Now this is how we make, this is just a diagrammatic representation of how a slide thin smear is made. So if you look at this picture over here, here here you put the drop of blood which I just showed you in the picture, and then this is how it is spreaded. So at last you should get a tongue shaped smear. So you see this is your slide. Okay, this is the drop of blood, this little structure over here, round structure over here is the drop of blood. You have to take another slide which is called the spreader and place it like this. So this is your glass slide, this is your drop of blood, you are standing this side, you have to take a glass slide and place it like this. Now step number one means you will go this direction, so you slowly go to this direction until you touch the blood drop. As soon as you touch the blood drop, number two is you push the slide on the other side, so that you get a smear like this. Now here you can see how the person comes back and the spreader touches the blood, and then see, it was, the slide was kept here, the spreader was kept here, and then it was pulled backwards. Okay, you see, it was pulled backwards, it touches the blood and spread it. Okay, so that's how. Okay, so that's how the thin smear is made. So once again I want you to see. Okay, back, pulling and pushing, pull backwards and push. So this is how a thin smear is made. Again, coming, pull backwards, touch the blood and push. So this is how thin smear is made. Now thick smear, you take a drop of blood and just make with the corner of the spreader, just make a round shape, just give it a round shape, that's it. That is how you make a thick smear. Now, possible mistakes that you can make. Now that I have shown you how the thin smear is prepared ideally, now what are the mistakes? Because mistakes are very common when you are doing the practical. So let's see what are the mistakes. So uh, okay, so these are the mistakes that you can make. Angle too flat. That means when you are holding the spreader, the angle should be 45 degree, and but you are keeping it very down, so the angle is very flat. Angle too short. Okay, so you're keeping it very high, so that also you can see here they did not get the tongue shape. Here also they did not get the ideal tongue shape, so that can be the problem. Pressure on the spreader. If you apply too much pressure, okay, if you apply too much pressure, you'll see the smear has broken down into bands. You see, if you apply too much pressure and spread it, your hand will shiver and you will see these broken bands. Okay, and if you put very little pressure also, it will not spread properly. If your blood drop has air bubbles, see here the blood drop has air bubble. Okay, so as soon as you make the smear, this is how it will come. It will not be uniform. You see it is thicker here and then thinner in the both the sides. So this could be the errors that can be made. Okay, now coming to how to make thick film or thick smear. So yeah, same way they have pricked the patient, and by touching, okay, by touching with the slide directly, you transfer the blood drop of blood from the finger to the slide, and then you take another slide, and with the edge of another slide, you just spread it little bit, and then you have this round structures, round shaped blood uh, smear, thick blood smear. Okay, another mistake that is made is the in case of venous blood or in finger prick also, like I said in the previous slide, you take it directly from the finger. Don't take it using something. You take the slide and touch it and transfer the drop directly on the glass slide. Now here what they have done is they have taken a micropipette, and then they have taken the blood in the micropipette, and then they are transferring it to the glass slide, which is wrong. This will disrupt the morphology, or it can also waste a lot of blood. So much blood can get stuck inside the tip. So sometimes for mixing they use the pipette, even if they have taken it from the finger directly on the slide by touching, but for mixing they are using pipette or they are using wooden stick. Okay, and you should never use wooden stick for prick. Always use sterile lancet. This can cause serious infections. Now, how will you know how much thick your thick smear should be? So there is only one ground rule, is that when you make your thick smear, so this is a thick smear, you place it on top of a newspaper, and then if you must see the letters which is down there. See, if you see dye, so the E falls under the um, smear, so you can easily see the letters what are written on this newspaper clearly. So this is the ideal thickness. If suppose you are not able to see them, that means it is too thick. Okay, now here additional mistakes that you can make in a thick smear is that making too thick. Okay, so here you have made the smear very thick. Okay, it's very thick that you cannot read the letters of newspaper through it, so that should not be done. And then a smear should be round. A thick smear should always be round. Now some people, what they do, they make some patterns and all, be based on how they wish it to appear, but that is not right. It should be round, that's it. No other shapes should be given to a thick smear. Now, labeling is very important, because when you are working in a lab, there are multiple samples that come for a single test. So you have to make sure that you label the slides correctly. Otherwise, there can be mixing, and you can give the wrong report to the wrong patient. So you can see frosted slides here. Frosted means this part is frosted, so that you can easily write with a lead pencil. So you, if frosted slides are there, you use a lead pencil and write. If suppose here you see non, this is non-frosted slide, the edges are not frosted, so you can use a diamond marking pencil, but do label carefully. The mistakes that you can make in labeling is using a ball pen or using paper labels. Okay, these sticky paper labels which come, do not use them, because when you are staining your slide, they may come off, and then you'll have no clue what slide it is. It belongs to which patient. You have no clue, and you'll end up making mistakes. And if you use ball pen also, first of all, ball pen is not meant to write on glass. And if at all somehow you manage also, there is no guarantee that it will remain after the staining procedure is done. Now, for drying, once you have prepared your smear for drying, you must keep it like this on a flat surface. Don't keep it in a standing position. Always keep them on a flat surface, and they must take their own time to dry. You should ideally not try to give them keep them under fan or use a blower or hair dryer or anything. They should dry naturally, and you should make sure that the area where you have kept them, there is no dust, because when they are still wet, they may catch some dust particle, and that can interfere with the microscopy. Now here it is shown that if you are in really hurry, you can take the help of an incubator to dry your thick smear, because thick smear takes longer time to dry, and you can use 37 degrees Celsius on in an incubator in order to dry it. And like I said, never use a fan or hair dryer to dry them. Okay, so these are some examples of good slides. Okay, here the thick smear, these two slides are thick smear, these are sorry, these two are thin smear, these two are thick smear. Here we have a slide with both thin and thick smear. This also can be done. You can make for the same sample, you can make both together in a same slide. So here you can see everything is done ideally, everything looks okay. So this is how your ideal thick and thin smear must look, and they are labeled. Very important that they are labeled. If it was not labeled, then it is, I will not say it is okay. It is only complete when it is well labeled. Okay, so these are some examples of smears that are called bad smears, and must not be practiced, because see, first mistake is you see paper labels. So I mentioned earlier, only paper labels should not be used. Then there are different patterns that are made. Too much blood is taken. So these are all the these are all the characteristic of bad smear. So you must not prepare this kind of thick smears. This kind of thick smears, if you make during staining, everything will wash away, and it is of no help. You'll end up doing double work. So please practice making smears which looks like this. And if you want your smears to look like this, you have to follow the correct steps of preparing them. Now, venous blood can also be used instead of capillary blood, but you have to collect the venous blood in EDTA vial. You can see the vacutainer here. This this vacutainer is having lavender color cap, so it must be, it is the EDTA vacutainer, and this is the ideal one for collecting whole blood for malarial or parasitic thick and thick smears. Here, okay. So here you can see that they are taking, how they are picking up venous blood. So venous blood, if it is collected in a vacutainer, you might be thinking that I told that not to use micropipette, then how the blood will be taken up. So in this video, they have attached a capillary tube to the tip of pipette, to micro tip of micropipette, and easily the blood is taken out. You see, they have a long capillary tube, and with the help of the capillary tube, they are taking out desired amount of blood to make the smear. So once again, you can always use capillary tubes, because for in capillary tubes, because of the capillary action, the blood moves, and this will not disrupt. So you see how the blood is taken out very easily with the action of capillary action of the capillary tube. So this is the ideal way of taking out blood from a EDTA valve. Now, now we are going to show you in this how to make thick and thin smear both in the same slide. So you have seen they are taking the blood from finger tip and they have taken 2 drops. Now they have spreaded 1 drop for thick smear and they have spreaded 1 drop in round shape for thick smear. So this was about your thick and thin smear. I hope you learned how to make thick and thin smear. So basically I will again go back and summarize those 2 slides wherein the procedure of making smear was shown. So okay, so I'm going to show you here again. This is how you place your spreader, touch the blood, place your spreader, go back, touch the blood, spread it. So this is how thin smear is made, and now they will show you thick smear. So this is the protocol and this is how it is done. And if you have any questions regarding uh, thick and thin smear preparation, please ask me and I will definitely reply to your doubts. Thank you so much for watching.